one of the things that Elsie brought in, Elsie's associated with the combined chapel at Porthscatho, and she brought in a poem by a lady that we didn't know about before, or I didn't know about, and it led to a whole area of research about this lady who went by the nom de plume of Christabel.
Her name was Florence Attenborough, and she came to Gerrans with her family. Yeah. Her father was a curate.
Yeah, her father was became the preacher at what is now the combined chapel that Elsie is associated with, but it was then the Congregational Chapel.
Yeah.
And in the late 19th century, her father became the preacher there, and they moved to Porthscatho for a period of time, which is where they would have no doubt met a lot of the local families in Porthscatho, including a local family called the Stodden family.
And Florence was evidently a talented writer, like clearly very creative, and was writing at a young age, and having her work published in local newspapers, but then became a professional writer and lyricist. I've got that right, haven't I?
Yeah, no, she absolutely did, because after her father finished his term as preacher at Porthscatho, they returned to the southeast of England, and she continued to write for newspapers. She published, I think, 3 different books, and you must realise that this is the time before the hit parade. I'm aging myself now, even saying that, because before downloads and before single records, we're talking about a period of time where sheet music was hawked from door to door, and that was the hit parade of the time. And what she was doing was writing the lyrics and inviting musicians to come and put the music to the lyrics, and then the songs would be sold as sheet music. And she was extremely successful at that. She would do things like write a poem and then send it to the Queen. And then, of course, the Queen would accept her poem, and then she would publicise the fact that her poem had been accepted by the Queen and put this all in the newspapers. So there was an amount of publicity that she did too. But research that we've done in some of the archives in London has actually found scores of pieces of music where she's written the lyrics.
Yeah, and she wrote the lyrics for something we haven't managed to see yet, which is A Day on Roseland, isn't it?
Yeah, a cantata.
It's a cantata, A Day on Roseland. So that was one thing that has slipped through the net of last year's project, but we will be following up because it's too good of a link to let go.
She married this man who came from Porthscatho called Richard Stodden, but they married and lived initially in the southeast of England, and then moved back to Porthscatho and lived in Porthscatho until she died in 1958, and she and Richard are buried in the churchyard at Gerrans.
So but Elsie remembered her, didn't she?
Yeah.
So that was the link with Florence, the quite unusual female professional writer and lyricist, and Elsie Thomas, who he spoke to on the Memory Day, remembered her and brought that story and all of her work into the project.